on YouTube. What do you know? All right. I keep changing how I get on my pages and stuff, so I'm all discombobulated. What's new? Oh, look at that. I'm not cutting off my head or anything. So, all right. I'll wait just a moment or two for people to kind of find the lives. That's something else. Like, unless you're there at the perfect moment, sometimes it's really hard to find the lives and jump on and get ready to go. And of course, I was running just a smidge late, which is par for the course. Especially lately, I'm lucky I'm here, much less I have it all together. So, yeah, we're semi back to normal. For the rest of this month, we should be absolutely fine. I think. And then I'll have to take a couple of weeks off. So until then, if there are things that we haven't worked on in a little while that you want to work on, give me a shout. If there's, I don't know, suggestions, comments, if you can help me with tech, I'm always appreciative of that because, you know, this is a seat of my pants kind of situation. At some point, maybe we'll get big time. I don't know. Big time equipment wise and that sort of thing. So today we're going to flow with some twists. And of course, I'm wanting Jeff here. have to show up right in time. So yeah, we're going to twist, and we're going to twist in all kinds of different places. We may try balancing, standing, laying. Well, obviously, we're going to twist laying down. That's always the best part, right? So anything that makes your twist better for you, right? So ideally, the spine stays really long and in proper alignment, right? So we don't want to be rounded or kind of tilted over. So just kind of keep that in your mind as we're moving through these twists in different places. I'll talk about lengthening and all of that and help you remember, hopefully. But those are the really important pieces when we're talking about twisting. You don't want to be compressed and try and twist something that's compressed. You don't want to be crooked and then try and twist. The spine doesn't like that very much. So we never want to end up with a backache or a neck ache or whatever from yoga, right? So let's come to stand at the top of the mat. And I'm going to have to... Let's go inside. Come on. Kiki, you want to go inside? In. Come on. I know. You going to stay out or no? Come on. Please. Come on, Poke. Come on. Good girl. All right. And now just do that. He's already been punished because he kills lizards. Anyway, here we are. Standing at the top of the mat, four corners of the feet, pressing down into the floor, making sure that the ankles are underneath the hip bones. A lot of people stay with their feet really wide, and a lot of people have their toes turned out. Make sure they're even through the middles, toes pointing forward. Foundation is always where it's at, right? So pressing down into the floor activates the legs, little gentle tuck of the tailbone, nothing crazy. Keeping that lower back nice and long. Lift the pelvic floor, lower belly in and up. We're tall through the sides, but relaxed through the shoulders. Crown of the head reaching toward the ceiling. And just feel how different and lengthening that is. Finding the alignment, being present in the body. Coming to your breath. Breathing all through the nose as you expand into each breath. Finding that just beyond comfortable place. So the breath is a little bit of work, a little bit of a stretch. And then everything we do from here is an addition, right? Not instead of. The breath still flows nice and full. We have this length in the spine, the alignment of the body here. Okay. So let's keep it. As we inhale, stretch the arms up toward the ceiling. Exhale as you bring them back down. Again, like that. One more time. Come on back to the top. Inhale. When you get there, interlace your fingers. You can rotate the palms toward the ceiling if you like. Exhale, tip left. Inhale back up to the middle. And exhale over to the right. With the breath side to side like that. Keeping the legs nice and active and the body weight even in the feet. Keeping the spine nice and long and the belly engaged. And just allowing the body to open a little bit bigger each time. Let's go one more time on each side like that. When you're back to center, just exhale the arms back to the sides. Resting the hands on the thighs. Lean if you need to lean. We're going to exhale over into a little half fold. And then bending through the knees, roll on back up again. Exhaling as you come forward. Inhaling as you roll back up. Take a few more flows like that. Let's go ahead and hold in the middle of that half fold here. Leaning on the legs, of course, if you need to lean. Check in that the belly's engaged, the spine is still long, your shoulders are back. And then go ahead and bend into the knees and just rest your forearms on the thighs. If you feel like you need to lean, go ahead and lean. Try not to squish up, right? Don't let the chest collapse. From here, we're going to take that right arm and sweep it up toward the ceiling. And for right now, allow your body to sort of shift, right? Kind of lean over to the left, that left knee will pop forward. Let that happen for now. Come on back to the middle. And then switch. Releasing that back to center again. Go ahead and take your legs straight. See if you can bring the hips over the ankles. Legs are straight, belly's in, shoulders are back. Leaning on the legs if you need to be leaning to keep the alignment. And then working into the second part of the fold, right? This is halfway, right? The first part. If you have a second part, let's gently work there. So inhale where you are. Exhale in a tiny bit deeper. Inhale into that halfway place again. And exhale a little bit deeper yet. So with each breath, you move a little bit deeper into the stretch. When you have found your full stretch, you are done. Let's take just a couple more flows like that, in and out. Finding the deepest part of that stretch wherever it is. The hands can stay up on the thighs, move to your shins, reach to the floor as long as the shoulders stay back. Right? So you're finding that alignment in the spine and not worrying about touching the floor or your feet. From here, we're going to make our way back into a down dog. And just allow yourself to wiggle and stretch into it. So thinking about the four corners of the hands like we set the four corners of the feet. Middle fingers point forward, pressing down, engaging the arms. And if it's not too much work already, imagine sweeping your arms toward each other, building those muscles. Pressing the chest back, sinking toward the heels. Ideally, the head is in line with the arms. Shoulders are neutral on the back. From here, let's go ahead and lift the right leg. Swinging or stepping that foot to the hands, let's come to lunge. So toes to the fingers, we're going to drop the back knee. Checking in that your knee and ankle are in alignment. Let's go ahead and take that right leg straight-ish. So, of course, right, you can prop up a little bit if you don't touch the floor, or a lot, right, depending on where that stretch is. We want to make sure the spine stays neutral. Let's bend into the knee again and let the hips shift low. So sinking in, extending out through the crown of the head. And again here, you may not be touching the floor. You might have to prop up a little bit or a lot. From here, we're going to bring the right hand to the hip and add in a little twist. So belly rotating toward the thigh, side ribs rotating toward the ceiling, taking the shoulder back, tucking this left shoulder under. So you don't want to just lean. Okay? We want to rotate around on the spine. Take another nice big breath. Releasing the twist. Take the right leg straight again. Go ahead and bend back into the knee. Maybe you can sink a little deeper into the hips here. And again, propping up if you need to prop up here. Let's bring that right hand to the inside of the foot then, and hug the arm and leg into each other. That's going to help with stability. It's a little wobbly sometimes. So the left hand to the hip, we're going to rotate away from the thigh this time. Taking those side ribs toward the ceiling, the shoulder back. Here you can kind of press into the leg. Just make sure the leg is pressing back to add a little bit of stability, add a little bit deeper twist. Looking up maybe. We'll release the twist and make our way back to down dog. So let's go to the second side, lift the left leg. Swing or step the foot through. Go ahead and drop the back knee, adjust your toes. They don't always land where you want them to. And then when you're ready, go ahead and take the left leg straight. Or straight-ish. It might not be all the way straight with the natural curves in the spine. You might have to prop. Listen to your body. It's never about touching your toes. It's not maintaining that alignment that we set up at the very beginning. And seeing if you can add things in, and sometimes you can't. Doesn't matter. Right? The work is to find out. Bending back into the knee. Let the hips descend. Find the length, find your alignment, find your stability, and then twist here, left hand to the hip, rotating toward the thigh. Releasing that and taking the leg straight again. So maybe this time you don't have to prop, or maybe you can flex the foot or add something else to challenge the hamstrings here. Maintaining your alignment, maintaining those great, big, smooth, full breaths. And then bending back into the knee, descending into the hips. Find this space, tons of length, right? Bring the left hand to the inside, using the arm and leg into each other. Right hand to the hip as we rotate away. Pressing into the leg to get a little bit deeper sensation if that's you. And then releasing the twist. Making your way back to down dog. And then go ahead and drop down and take a child's pose. So maybe the arms extended, move the hands back by the heels. You can stack the fists, use a block for your head. Yeah. And then we're going to make our way back to down dog again. So really stretch it out here. Shift into plank. Make sure your hands and feet are as far apart as they need to be for plank in your down dog. And then make sure that your right hand feels really, really rooted into the floor. If you're slippery or sweaty, it might not be super comfortable. So make that hand planted into the floor. Bend the right knee, keeping the toes on the floor. Take your left hand to the outside of your right leg. Maybe you grab up by your thigh, maybe you're down toward your knee or calfish. Maybe you can reach to your ankle. Doesn't matter, grab it. And then see if you can take your legs straight, sinking through the heels, and kind of rotating up underneath this left shoulder. Right shoulder. Release it. And then we're going to do the same thing on the second side. So really make sure that left hand is happy into the mat. Bending at the knee, the right hand reaches for the outside of the leg. Whatever it is that you can grab. Bending the knee brings the leg closer to you. And then when you have what you have, take the leg straighter, press your heel. Feel as if you're being pulled underneath this left arm. And then release. Go ahead and drop the knees and step back into your child's pose again. Let's come back to down dog. Stepping the feet forward into standing fold. Taking the feet a little bit wider here, just outside of the shoulders or so. Check in that your toes are pointing forward. You can absolutely have a bend in the knee here if you like. We're going to take the hands and walk them over to the right. So the floor, your foot, your shin, whatever. Let yourself lean. And then come on back through the middle and do the same thing on the second side, kind of lean in over to the left. Bring it back to center and take the feet a step wider. And however wide you want to be, of course, right? Make sure that you are all on or all off of your mat. So the foot is even into the floor. We're going to take the legs straight. So again here, Prop if you need to prop. Okay. Keeping the shoulders back, belly in, all that fancy stuff. We're going to do the same thing again as we walk the hands over to the right. So maybe you touch what you were touching before, or maybe not. If you feel the body weight shift or a knee bend or whatever other adjustments that the body likes to make, see if you can keep your lower body just as it was when you were in the middle. So maybe you just don't go so far. Come on back through the center, over to the left, same idea. And then back to the middle again. Take those feet one step wider. And again, round into the four corners of the feet. Make it nice and even. Shoulders back, belly in. You can absolutely still prop up here if you need to. So from here, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. So they're probably further away from your feet, right? With the arms straight. Bring the left hand underneath your face and the right hand to your head. So the right hand has a job. It's going to keep the hips moving to the left a little bit and keep this right hip pressing back. So the spine stays neutral. You see this? We're going to rotate the belly around to the right. Imagine the side ribs moving toward the ceiling, taking that shoulder back. And in your head anyway, we're kind of tucking that left shoulder up underneath. You can press against the floor, lengthening the spine, maybe even kind of pulling to deepen your twist. And then release that side and switch. So the right hand underneath the face and the left hand to the hip. Use the left hand to keep the pelvis level, the spine nice and long as you rotate around here. We'll take another nice big breath. Release the twist. Walk the feet back in up underneath the hip bones. Find the four corners again. Taking the legs straight, bring your hands to your thighs, come into your half fold. And then bend into the knees, we're moving to the chair. So the four corners of the feet are even on the mat. Tailbone's tucked, the spine is nice and long here. Hang on, come center, extend, whatever makes you happy there. We're going to take one more breath. Stretch to the ceiling, and then release the arms. So let's take a little standing back bend here. Again, kind of checking in with your feet, keeping them even, that gentle little tuck of the tailbone, keeping the lower back long. You can support with the hands on the lower back. You can maybe interlace your fingers behind your back if you're ready for all of that, right? Just a nice, easy little back bend here. Elbows hug toward each other, shoulder blades hug toward each other. And then the tailbone's pointing toward the ceiling, toward the floor, as the crown of the head is moving back. So nice and gentle here. The lower body stays where it is. Right? Sometimes the pelvis juts forward here to kind of help, but that doesn't really change what the spine is doing. So thinking about the spine, lifting the chest, taking the bottom tips of your ears back. We'll take another nice big breath here. With an inhale, make your way back up to neutral, nice and gentle. Release the arms. And then bring the hands to the thighs, leaning, of course, if you need to lean. Come back forward into that half fold. And then all the way over into a full fold again. And here we're going to bring the feet together. So hug the legs in, even if you're thin and your legs don't touch. Squeeze them together, as if they do. Bend into the knees, hands to the thighs, into this variation of chair. Lean, of course, if you need to lean. You can start nice and gentle by bringing the right hand to the outside of the left knee, maybe the left hand to the hip, and rotate around there. Okay. Or see if you can take that right elbow to the outside of the knee. And then you can bring the palms together, press against the leg to rotate around. But just like before, that right hip is going to kind of drop and the knee will pop forward to help, right? We don't want that. So keep pulling it back, lengthening your spine, finding neutral with your shoulders on your back, and then releasing it. Take the leg straight for a second, give yourself a moment. And then we'll go second side. So again, moving into chair. Squeeze, belly's working, spine is long, right? Adding in maybe the left hand to the knee, right hand to the hip, or you're using your elbow, palms together, rotating around there. Check in that your feet feel even, that left knee is in line. And then release the twist again. Straight legs. Opening the feet back out into our hip bone distance. This time here, let's take a bend in the knees. And on an inhale, roll your spine all the way up. Standing tall at the top here. So, nice big step back with the right foot. Feet are even through the middle here. And then turn them so that the toes point out a little bit. Bend into the knees. You want your knees pointing in the same direction as your toes, and you want to be able to see your toes. So check it out that you have the proper stance. Take the legs straight when they are, and extend the arms, making the body like an X. With the breath, on an exhale, bend elbows and knees at the same time. And then inhale, come on back to the top. So exhaling, think bringing the upper arms and thighs parallel-ish to the floor. And keeping the spine in that neutral position. So the butt doesn't stick out. The shoulders don't drop forward. Take one more like that. Hold in your squat. So you can hold with the elbows bent, or you can extend the arms out to the sides. If you want to add a little forward fold here, bring the upper body forward. Think bringing your shoulders and head in line with your knees and hips-ish. We're going to hinge back up. Stretch to the ceiling, and then release the arms. Step back to the top of the mat. So here, let's go ahead and step back a short step with the left foot. For now, all 10 toes are going to point forward. You want to feel even on your feet, so adjust your stance a little wider sideways maybe. Keeping the back heel grounded as you bend into the right knee. The hips and shoulders are squared to the top of the mat. You can absolutely use your hands to make sure that's happening. And then how about extending the arms? Relaxing the shoulders, maybe looking up. Then keeping the head in line with the arms. Take another big breath. Opening into warrior two, then take the arms parallel to the floor, right arm over right leg. We're going to open to the side a little bit, so you can probably open your feet. Still bent into this right knee. Toes are pointing forward, knee is stacked over the ankle, yeah? Let's bend that right arm, rest the forearm on the thigh, bring the left arm over the ear. Sink into the hips. Lean on the leg as heavily as you need to lean and really get into the hips. Releasing that, come over into lunge. Go ahead and drop that back knee for now. So we're going to do that right hand to the inside of the foot again here. You can be just as we were earlier, right? Taking the left hand to the hip and just kind of rotating around. You can take that left hand behind your back, reach around towards your right hip. And maybe you touch your hip and maybe you don't. So you can press against the leg and pull against the hip to rotate a little bit deeper into the twist. If you're feeling all kinds of spicy, you can take your right hand underneath the thigh here, reaching around for the outside of the hip, and maybe you can find your fingers. Maybe you can't, don't worry about it. The idea, and yeah, you can kind of wiggle to get there, but then you still want to be twisted. So we still press against the right leg, pull with the left hand to rotate around into this twist. And then if you really want to get exciting, you can drop the back heel, lifting the knee away from the floor. You got one more breath wherever you are. Releasing that. Stepping back to a down dog. Give yourself a wiggle and a stretch. And then slide forward into a plank. Drop it down to the belly. Take a little roll into your shoulders, cobra. Releasing that. Up and back to down dog. Let's step the feet forward, come to standing fold. Take a little bend in the knees here and roll on up to standing again. All right. So you did it on one side, you know that has to happen on the other side too, right? So let's take that short step back with the right foot. Even in the four corners of the feet. Grounded in the back heel as you bend into the left knee. Squaring the hips, squaring the shoulders, extending the arms if that's you. Moving into warrior two, arms parallel to the floor. Opening the feet a little wider. Probably. Find your big toe. Nice and even into the feet. Bend that left arm. Rest the forearm, right arm over the ear. Sink into the hips. And then releasing that, come over to your lunge. Go ahead and drop on down to the back knee again. So lots of places to be here, right? Lots of things to try. See where it goes. Bring the left hand in, right hand to the hip, and start to rotate around. And if this is it, this is still good, yeah? See about maybe taking that right hand back a little bit, pulling against the hip to draw a little deeper. What about it? Left hand underneath the thigh, reaching for the outside of the hip. And then find your twist again. You might have to wiggle a little bit to get in there, but then keep the twist. So let the hips come forward, press into the left leg, or the left arm really. pull with the right to rotate around. And if you want to lift the back knee, go ahead. One more breath. Releasing your twist. Stepping back to down dog. Take a shift forward into plank. Dropping down to the belly. Taking that little roll into cobra. And then releasing back to down dog. Let's go ahead and drop on down to the knees. Take a little break in child's pose. So from here, we're going to come up into kneeling plank. Finding that neutral spine, making sure the belly's pulled in. And then keep that idea as you bend your elbows, bringing them in line, the upper arms in line with the ribs. Keeping the shoulders back, the four corners of the hands on the floor. Press back up. Sit back to child's pose. Into our kneeling plank again. And from here, keeping the knee on the floor, take that left foot over to the left side of your mat. Open up to the right here, right hand to your hip or to the ceiling or whatever. So the body is in a straight line from the crown of your head, shoulders, hips, all the way back to that right heel. Stacking the hips and shoulders, and if you want to stay here, stay here. Happy about the left hand, yeah? How about lifting the right leg and bringing the right hand behind the ear here? On an exhale, pull your elbow and knee together in the middle. Give it a squeeze. And then inhale, stretch back out. Bring it in. And out. Do that again. Reach back up and rotate back to kneeling plank. Bend into the elbows, bring them in line with the ribs, stop and hover. Make sure your chest isn't sagging, your butt's not sticking up or hanging on the floor. Press back up and sit back to child's pose. Coming forward into kneeling plank again. We'll do the second side. So take the right foot over to the right, opening the body to the left. And again here, checking in with your alignment. Shoulders back, make sure your belly's supporting and your right hand is happy as we lift the left arm, lift the left leg. Bringing the hand behind the ear, same idea here. Exhale as you squeeze in, inhale as you stretch out. Again. Let's go one more time. Reaching up and rotating into kneeling plank. One more time. Bend the elbows tight to the sides, hover. Pushing back up and sitting into your kneeling plank again. Let's make our way into all fours. One more funky twist. And then just normal, kind of. So here, we're going to take the, let's take the right hand, palm up, weaving it under. So the elbow to the center of the mat, maybe, right? Or you can continue to reach away and bring the shoulder to the center of the mat. Try not to collapse in, okay, right underneath where it would have been. Resting the head on the floor, try not to lean on your head. Hips are over the knees, so the spine is long and neutral. And then this might be where it is, right? You can press into the right arm, press into the left fingertips, putting the elbow up and pushing that left shoulder back so that it kind of stacks on top of the right. Yeah, feeling it? You can stay here, keeping this shoulder back. See if you can reach away. So a lot of times we get excited about the hand moving further back, but then the shoulder is falling forward. The twist happens with the shoulder, not the arm. You can step the left foot back. Maybe lift the left toes away from the floor. Find your foot if you want to get a little quad stretch here. And then gently release whatever you got. Come back into that all fours position again. Moving to the second side, same idea. Taking either the elbow to the floor, again, right underneath. Stretching out so that the shoulder comes into that spot. Using the arms more or less. Lifting the arm, lifting the leg, any little pieces that you want to add in here. And again, remember it's about where the shoulder is, not where the hand is. Take another big breath. Release it. Coming back into all fours. And then into your child's pose again. So let's kind of sit up on the heels. And if this is not a happy place for you, you can definitely sit up on a block. Okay. Lifting the hips a little bit. Or you can just sit on your bottom, right? We're just going to stretch out the shoulders. Okay. They've been working pretty hard for us. So let's go ahead and take the left arm out and bring that arm in front so that the fingertips are pointing toward the ceiling. The palm is facing to your right. Take the right arm, weave it underneath. You're going to bring the hand between your forearm and face, and then see if you can catch your fingers. You can also grab opposite shoulder here and stack your elbows, and it's essentially the same deal, a little bit less intense on the shoulders. So relax your shoulders. Maybe lift your elbows. Take your hands further or closer to your face. All these tiny, subtle little adjustments make a difference. Another big breath. Let's release the arms. Maybe roll out your shoulders a little bit if that feels good. And then switching sides, take the right arm out, and then that arm comes in front. The left arm winds under, between. Maybe the fingers catch here. Again, if you get a better adjustment, grabbing opposite shoulder, feel free to take that. And then relax the shoulders down. Maybe lift your elbows up, adjust your hands. All of those little adjustments. Find the stretch. Release the arms, roll your shoulders. I try so hard not to get distracted. I do. Sorry. Release all of that and then come around, bring the legs around front. Anybody have a terrier? So Legs straight, toes pointing up toward the ceiling as if we were back in our half fold. Okay? Make sure you feel upright on your pelvis. Spine is neutral here. Reaching the arms. Let's come forward into fold. Remember the neutrality of the spine. Okay? So it doesn't matter where your hands fall, if that's your feet, great. If that's your shins or thighs, fine. Shoulders down and back. Extending long through the crown of your head. One more nice big breath. Inhale as you come back up again. Release the arms. So let's go ahead and step the right foot flat to the floor. And you can absolutely have this foot to the inside, or you can take it to the outside. The important piece is to have the pelvis level and the spine nice and long, like we've been talking about the whole time. So where this leg is less important. Maybe the left leg stays extended, but you can bend at the knee and bring your heel in front of the right sit bone, not underneath. This right foot is flat, the spine or the pelvis is level, and the spine is tall, right? As long as you have all that. Add in your twist, bringing the left arm to wrap around the leg, right arm behind the back. Pressing down into that right arm, pulling against the right leg to rotate around. Go ahead, take another nice big breath. Release it back to that center, unhooking the legs. And then switching to your second side here, so that left foot is flat to the floor, whether you're on the inside, maybe closer to your heel, maybe closer to your hip, whatever, or the outside. Right leg straight or bent. Check in. As you move, as you add every little piece, can you get back to that neutral spine? Wrapping the right arm, supporting with the left. A little bit of push and pull here. Releasing that back to the middle. We'll unhook the legs. Shake them out a little bit if that feels good. And then bring the soles of the feet together here. Hang on to your ankles, draw your heels in, lift your chest. Shoulders down and back. We're going to lean back to balance. And then go ahead and C-curve your spine and roll on down to your back. Allow the soles of the feet to stay together. Release the feet to the floor. Release your pelvis, your knees, your belly. Bring the knees in and draw the knees to the chest. Let yourself rock. I'm gonna have to kill him. And then taking the feet flat to the floor, go ahead and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Keeping the spine as neutral on the mat as you can as you bring that right leg in, interlacing the fingers behind the right thigh. Flex your feet, see if you can drop your shoulders back, and gently pull the right leg in toward the chest. You can press the left leg away with your elbow, Take another nice big breath here. And then we'll release it. Taking both feet flat again. Crossing the right leg over the left. And then doing the same thing here. So reaching back for the thigh, keeping the shoulders back, trying to keep the spine neutral, pulling the left leg in. Another nice big breath here. And then we release it, taking both feet flat. Let's go ahead and open the arms out into a T position here. And we've done all kinds of twists, but this last one is for you to decide. So we're going to take the knees to the right, whether you shift your hips first, you hug your knees in first, you cross your legs, you take your legs straight once you're over, whatever you want to do. Give something a go. And then maybe change it up if that's what your body tells you to do. Where habit you got into, if you're relaxing into it, does it change how it feels versus working? Find what you need. Let's take 3 more breaths here. So if you wanted to adjust, you can adjust. We'll make our way back up to the top. And then switch sides. So ideally what you did on the first side, something similar. It doesn't have to be the exact same, but you always want to move in the same direction to keep your body even. But you might find it needs a little extra here or there. So again, just kind of check it out and move where your body needs you to move. A few more breaths over on this side. And then gently make your way back up to the middle. One more time, drawing the knees into the chest and rocking. Bring the knees in as tight as you can get. Pull your forehead towards your knees. Give yourself a squeeze.
Releasing that out into a full body stretch. And then release your stretch. And find Savasana. Wherever your body needs to be today. Checking in with that alignment, even here. And you don't have to work once you get there. So finding comfort, finding support. And then releasing the muscles and coming back solely to your breath here. Release control of the breath, but try to stay focused on it. Taking just a moment to simply be present. Slowly draw in a deep, cleansing breath. And then let it go. Restoring gentle movement to the body. And when you're ready, taking the feet flat to the floor. Slowly making your way back up to seated. Sitting well and bringing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thanks for twisting it up with me, guys. Ladies, girls, whatever. All right. So have a great weekend. The weather has finally decided to be nice here anyway. Hopefully where you are as well. Like I said, get in touch with me. Let me know if there's stuff you need to work on, or if you have suggestions or comments or questions. And if I don't see you before, I'll see you next week. Yay. Thanks, y'all.